Right, guys, happy days. Amazing to see you again. Thank you. Right, happy days. Nice smile. Yeah, that's Thanks for coming. I'll give you a hug. Hold on, it's okay. Alright, you got it, that's great. Yeah, done, thank you. Happy days, fantastic. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, that's it. Right. That's the one, look at me guys. We're going to get in. Okay. Right, look at me, directly at me. Happy days, fantastic. Wonderful. Happy days. That's great. Where's your brush? No, no, that's fine. Right, Joe, if you look directly at me now, a bit closer to, yeah, just, and turn it. That's it, look at me, Joe. That's it, you got, yeah, exactly that. Exactly that, yeah. Look at me now, both of you. That's wonderful. Nice smile. That's great. Fantastic.
Keep coming, chaps. A little bit further. Right, now step down one if you want, everybody.
If you can't see us, we can't see you. So the one's back. I don't know. The one's right at the back. And you come down here. Right, Hannah. These are coffee days. Okay. That's perfect. Right, okay. I'm set, just make the Porsz finished.
Carry on.
Oh, okay. Right, girls, ladies. Okay. All those years ago. 40 years, is it? 40 years. Fantastic. You're my favourite, one of my favourites. Thank you so much. So, I took this random picture about 30 years ago. One picture taken. Again, it'd be a bit dodgy doing that these days, but it was a different age then. We don't have that paranoia about iPhones, but we certainly do about big cameras. So, I got called as a paramedic to a lady who'd fallen down the stairs in an Asian clothes shop, and fortunately she was okay. And I have to say to the shopkeeper, because I had that picture in my first book called New England, I said to the shopkeeper, I don't suppose you know who this boy is? And he said, I do. And this is a true story. He stood up and he said, he lives somewhere down there, somewhere down Cromwell Road. And as his arm was raised, a middle-aged man turned the corner. And as he got closer and closer, he said, that's it. So a man comes into the shop and says, do you know this boy? And yeah, it's me. So what's the chances, you know? Ricky, this young lad here, and the fan, cheeky fan, and Bill down here. So 30 years later, got me by chance at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock when I actually did nights when I was a paramedic. I knocked on the door in Donaldson Drive at 3 o'clock in the morning, and a man fell out the door, not in a very good condition. A bit of oxygen, and yeah, slowly improved. Yes. And then back of the ambulance, he said, "You took my picture 30 years ago," and I thought, "Wow, turn up the oxygen, I'm not going to let you go now." Yeah. You know? And so we did the reunion, and unfortunately, this young lad he died young. Christopher Jackson. The others we couldn't. This lad here, him there. So we got back to exactly the same place, because I like to do that. I like to get exactly the same location if I can and try and get it as similar as possible. We knocked on the door, did we not, to try and try and get you look through, and we just couldn't. It was fit in the window. It was full of wood. Anyway, so that's sometimes how it was done. 30 years later, I put this picture in a calendar. I was flocking the calendar with a group of nurses in the hospital, as you do, and one of the nurses said, "That's me." So, one picture taken, a couple snogging on the square here, and so 30 odd years later, or more, managed to find Bob the policeman. Okay, managed to get an old cape. We'd like to get the details, so I've got a pair of cape and handcuffs and trunks and all the rest of it. Managed to get the snoggers back. Julie's a nurse in Hull, so she couldn't be here tonight. Ryder Hunt, the guy there. he's turned out to be quite famous. This guy here, Gary DeRue, the heavyweight champion of Great Britain boxer, and Chris Cousins there. So this one was his. It was my daughter, so I know about it.
A lot of trouble finding Tim, I think, and of course we all discounted it as me as a policeman, but eventually got us together. We had a nice coffee together, and we didn't remember speaking to each other, but we became friends.
They did, like old partners in crime. House on Fire, you got on.
Yeah, we did.
It was great, and how the background's changed, of course, as well. You know, you see Timothy White's background.
There's not a single shot there now that is still there, and it just captured that moment. It just makes you realise how much things have changed in our life.
Is Dick Noble here?
Dick over here on Cathedral Square. The wonderful thing is, you're sergeant there, aren't you, Dick? Yes. Yeah. And the sergeant next to you went on to be chief constable of Hertfordshire.
He did, but we couldn't get him for the reunion. So I took one picture, 1980-ish, Cathedral Square, of a bit of a kerfuffle on the square. Yeah. So you have Dick here looking on, and a guy on the floor. Yeah, so 30 years later, we managed to find each other. Took Dick back to the square, and I thought, how are we going to do this? This is boring, you know, he's going to stand here. But just by chance, as it sometimes happens, this came by, an armed response vehicle. Because it's such a contrast to the Panda car. Yeah. And anyway, the guys got out. In fact, one of them was a brother of a paramedic as well, but guys got out and they said, we're just being nosy, what's going on here? And I said, well, this is one of your former colleagues, so Dick Noble, can you arrest him? And that's the picture. So, Emily and Jimmy. So he's a chiropractor in Zurich, and managed to eventually, after COVID, have to wait for a year, got them back there. And it's quite funny because the shop owner, the Madhouse, he said, the shop was run on a shoestring. That's why we use people's children as doorsteps.